please. Thank you. Well, welcome to our Sunday Assembly. We're very excited to have you here. It is going to be a wonderful show that we have here for you today. We have our media free zone. You'll notice it
I know we didn't talk about this, but I was wondering, I was thinking, just to starting, I hope nobody minds, but I was thinking, if we could just do a little something different with the introduction, if that's, just stay right here. Okay, if that's okay with you. Neil, please.
All right!
Welcome to the fourth ever Sunday Assembly in San Diego. This event will be recorded, so if you don't want to be photographed or videotaped, please use our free zone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Chloe!
Chloe, me! Woo! All right, everybody, we want you to get up. We want you to sing if you want to. If you don't want to, you can sit down. But we really encourage you to get up with us and sing. We have our band. He's going to be singing Smash Mouth All-Star for us. So please rise and get up and sing, and we're going to be getting started.
DJ Desvera.
Woo! Thank you.
All right, DJ.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, that was me. Let's wake up. Good morning, everybody. Much better. All right, so who here is a fan of Smash Mouth? All right. We're going to wake up with a little all-star this morning, and you guys are good singers. I brought candy to reward you, so after the song, raise your hand if you want candy. I'll be rewarding you guys with good singing. But I've been hitting that coffee pretty hard, so it might be a little punk rock. Try to keep up. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. Kinda dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, years start coming and they don't stop coming. They're two rules and you're living real running. It makes sense not to live for fun. Brain is smart, but your head is dumb. So let's do some much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You never know if you don't go. You never shine if you unplug. Hey now, you're all set. Hang on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. Alright, so this is the first song. I know it's a little bit strange to wake up singing, but you know, Sunday is what we're here for. So if you're afraid to sing with your hands, you know, clap it up. I'm not afraid, give me the clap. There we go. It's a cool place, and you don't get scolded. You bundle up now, wait till you get older. The medium metric's different, judging from the whole of the satellite picture. Actually, skate, get my thing. You always keep warm, so you might as well swim. The world's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I like it, it'll never get bored. Hey now, you're an all-star, if you come on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star, get the show on, get paid. And all that is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. Alright, this next part's really easy, it's really fun, you don't have to sing. This is the whistle break now. So get your whistlers ready, everybody. I hear a couple whistles out there. Let's see who's better at whistling, the guys or the gals. So this one's for the ladies first. Ladies, pucker up and let's whistle. Here we go. gentlemen's turn, men. I think we can beat them. I think this could be the men's morning. Here we go. Nice. Now everybody. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get the game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that really goes. Only shooting stars break the mold. Somebody once asked, could I spare some change for gas? I need to get myself out of this place. I said, yep, what a concept. I could use a little fuel myself, and we can all use a little change. Well, you start coming and you don't start coming. Then you move and you hit the ground running. It makes sense not to live for the fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets done. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with thinking the black sheep? Never know if you don't go. Never mind if you don't go. Hey now, you're an all-star. If you go on, hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, hey, all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. Alright, everybody. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. One more time. Only shooting stars break the mold. Good morning, you guys sound great.
Thank you so much. All right, that was EJ.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he's our wonderful band person. You can buy his album on iTunes. It's called Go Folk, F-O-L-K, yourself. You can also find him on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah. So again, welcome to Sunday Assembly. I am Chloe Reitherman. This is Steven Sonnen. Yes, so thank you guys so much for coming. Just a brief idea of what Sunday Assembly is all about. We started in London. It's a global movement of good and wonderful music, as you just saw. Started in London with our two founders, Sanderson and Pippa. They got this wonderful idea of, hey, we love church, but we don't like the spiritual stuff, so let's take that out and just sing and eat cake and listen to cool people talk. So that's what Sunday Assembly is all about. They started coming across the United States and starting different Sunday Assemblies all around the country. So we're really privileged to be a part of not only a national movement, but a global movement. So really happy you're here. Steve is going to talk to us.
So some of the mottos that we have in your program, I don't know if everybody has a program for service, but one of them is live better.
Live better is, the idea behind that is we want you guys to come here and from what you learned today or from any of the other assemblies to make your lives deeper, richer, and just live better lives.
And also, and this is, just this fantastic life of living, wonder more.
Wonder more. So we talk about amazing things. We had an astrophysicist here talk about dark matter. Today our speaker is talking about the Arctic and all these amazing things about our world. We want you to question. We want you to think about your world and just realize how privileged we all are to be here on this planet.
And lastly, the help of 10.
Helping 10 people in your life is very, wait, what was that?
Oh, that makes more sense.
Help often,
Help often.
not help of
Help
10.
often.
We want more than 10 people. So, preferably. Okay. That was a little confusing. I can see how you get confused there.
Well, if it was, straight. Assembly, order of assembly today, we have the introduction, which we just did, the song from BJ, that was fantastic. We've got a sing-along coming up again. We have a kids breakout section with Amanda reading. We have a fantastic speaker today. We're very, very happy. It's one of the things about Sunday Assembly is you're going to get to see great speeches every week. We have Dr. Patrick Abbott, Changing the Arctic, What Does It Mean for Planet Earth? A musical performance again by BJ, his own work. So we have a fantastic group joining us today that does really good work in San Diego. Stand Up for Kids, personal story there. I cannot forget that we have the reading of the Lorax by our friend Nicholas Strickland. And we'll have a silent reflection in just a minute. Some announcements. We're going to do a game later. And we thought we'd give you a heads up on this game. So we've been like hoisting a game on the end of the show, but we're going to tell you what this is ahead of time. So you're going to tell the person next to you two things about yourself that are true and one thing that is a lie. So this is going to give you plenty of time to think about your really good lie. For instance, I'm going to tell Chloe, my grandfather was the person who was in charge of pouring the cement for Fashion Valley. And my father was an extra in 3 films with Esther Williams. And I got married in a Costco in the middle of the day while it was open, right out there in the clothing section.
Wow, which one is true? Which one is it? Okay, so we're going to go into everybody's favorite part next. We're going to sing again. But first, how many of you out there like science? How many like science? Ah, wonderful, wonderful. Well, if you like science, I have some other things you might like. 5 reasons why you should sing in our Sunday Assembly.
Number 5.
No one wants to hear Brendan or Stephen here sing by themselves.
Number 4.
Singing has psychological benefits because it helps reduce stress through action of the endocrine system.
Number 3.
Because you forgot to shower this morning and need to get your singing in today.
Number 2.
At Sydney DeHaan Research Project, they reported that singing in harmony with others engenders happiness and raised spirits, which counteracts feelings of sadness and depression. Science.
And number 1.
Research at the Frankfurt University in 2002 sampled singers' saliva before and after singing proved that our secretion of antibodies is increased when we sing, so our immunity is boosted too. This, interestingly, did not happen when just listening to music. So, if you love science, you have to sing. For everyone who doesn't sing, a small atom dies alone in the universe.
However, if you really don't feel like singing, that's okay. Just join us for our next song.
It's our community song. Build Me a Buttercup.
It is the Highway Sing-Along Buttercup Edition.
Stand up, everybody, if you'd like to. Stand up with us. You can get our song leaders up here.
Sing
reading next to them. Oh, right, you're correct. My bad. So, right now, if you have kids in the audience, they're more than welcome to stay with us. We love our, that sounds creepy. We love children. But if you want to give us your children, there is a table in the back with our lovely Amanda. She's raising her hand. Hi, Amanda. Hi, kids. How's it going? All right. They're doing really cool stuff over there. I think like drawing and other stuff. If you want to drop your kids off over there, feel free. But they are welcome here in the service too.
And now we're going to have Nicholas Strickland, who's going to read an excerpt from the Lorax. Come on up, Nicholas. Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Nick. This is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss, in case anybody didn't know. It was published in 1971, right around the time of the environmental revolution, things like that. So, at the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the Swami Swans rang out into space, one morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits, as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rivulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these, but the touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted it with need. The instant I finished, I heard a great gazump. I looked, I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was a sort of a man. Describe him? It's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy. And he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. I'm doing, this thing is a need. A need is a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, sir, you are crazy to breathe. There's no one on earth who would buy that full need. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the need I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, built a radio phone and put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts. I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of brown barbaloots who played in the shade of their barballoot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, and I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes, when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax," he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled, he snarled, he sniffed. "Onceler," he cried with a crufulous croak. "Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swany swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing with smog in his throat." "And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog we've smogged up around here." "What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on, day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup, also schloppity-schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old onceler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hum. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off, oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary, in search of some water that isn't so smeary." And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say, 'Bad, bad, bad, bad.' Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm biggering on biggering, and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs which everyone needs." And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to do. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smothered stars. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, and gave me a very sad backward glance. As he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he heisted himself into a leave of his place, through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless, whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Nicholas. That was fantastic. It's a perfect intro to our next piece.
Patrick L. Abbott earned his Ph.D. in Geology from the University of Texas at Austin. He's a long-standing professor at San Diego State University. He's also the author of innumerable books, including Rise and Fall of San Diego and Natural Disasters. Please welcome Dr. Patrick Abbott.
Thank you. Geology has been a fascinating topic. I'm very delighted to have had as a career, this understanding of the Earth. And I thought what we might look at for a few minutes here this morning is one of the places on Earth that's changing the most rapidly, and get a feel for what and why. We're talking about the Arctic. We see the Arctic is, well, our presence is now being felt up there. It's not just the polar bear's domain anymore. We're up there as well. And I want to focus here first on the Arctic Ocean itself. Here's the North Pole here. And if we look around it, we see a real honest-to-goodness ocean basin. We've taken the ice off here. You see spreading centers. You see the deep ocean here, the deep blue meaning deeper water. You see the continental shelves. You see a real honest-to-goodness ocean basin that's been hidden from our view until recent years here. Now, it's interesting now to look and see who borders the Arctic Ocean. Politically speaking, as the world goes, it's actually quite simple. When you look at it, well, here's Greenland, which is still in the process of separating from Denmark. Here's Canada. Here's the United States with Alaska. When we come around to the long, long Russian coastline, and then an interesting feature, I always think about Norway, Sweden, and Finland, but when you look at the map directly, notice Norway wraps around the northern ends of Sweden and Finland. So there's actually only 5 nations that border the Arctic Ocean. Relatively simple number of nations to deal with. And of course, under United Nations law, each country has a 200-mile exclusive economic area off from their shoreline. So we pretty well have an Arctic Ocean controlled by 5 countries. And it's going to become much more significant going forward. There's that 200-mile zone. And we're enlarging it a little bit here. If we take the whole Arctic Circle, this Arctic Council is meeting. If we take the Arctic Circle here and the dashed blue line, then we pick up Finland and Sweden and then put Iceland in there. But still 8 countries, which shouldn't be too much in the way of political problems. Now, what I want to talk about a little bit here is, remember from, I remember from just being a little kid at Benjamin Franklin Elementary School over here. We start learning about the world. You start learning the continents and the oceans. You start learning how things are put together. And one of the things they were always looking for was this Northwest Passage. The European explorers starting in the late 1400s trying to get a shortcut, another way to get over to the other side of the world, and they never could get through that Arctic Ocean. And that's what, the late 1400s? That's the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, 1900s. For several hundred years, nobody's able to get through there, and now what? Well, I'm with the Smithsonian these days, and I lecture on all continents and all oceans. And if you like, you can join me on a luxury cruise ship. We'll sail through the Arctic Ocean next year. So we're looking at a radically changed world right here. And why? Why the change? I want to look more at this thing here, the Arctic Ocean, impenetrable still in the winter. Well, look at these photos here. If we look at September 2001 now, what had heretofore been impassable, look how passable this is in summer months. For example, after Japan had that overwhelming earthquake and tsunami 3 years ago that shut down all their nuclear power plants, where were they getting their energy? Well, a lot of that was coming from Russian oil tankers coming over here around to Japan. In other words, an energy supply system that would not even been possible at any other times in our lifetime. And here are real world decisions that people have right now. You could be sitting over here, let's say we're over here in Asia. You want like to send ships like this around to Europe, as opposed to the present longer voyage, pirate-infested waters here, paying tolls to go through here. This is a real choice now. Every year, the biggest ships you see on the oceans in the summer months, some of the largest ships on Earth, are sailing through the Arctic Ocean. And this trend is probably only going to continue unless something radically changes in climate in another direction. We're looking at a very different world than the one we've grown up in. So, what's happening to global climate? Well, in the simple thing, of course, we hear about global warming all the time, But I thought here the Arctic's where we see a lot of these things. And I like to bring up this concept. Everybody here knows this concept, but I like to emphasize it because I consider it to be one of the most significant concepts that have come up during our lifetimes. That's that one about tipping points. We're so used to thinking about things changing little by little by little by little with those incremental changes. But then we get to certain places where the system has irreversibly changed. Not by anything dramatic in and of itself, but it's a trend. And on these tipping points, for example, for the melting of Arctic ice, reminds me a little bit like, if you walk to the freezer compartment of your freezer and you take out an ice cube, and you come over here and you set it on the kitchen counter. Well, it's too warm in your house, it's going to melt. So you've passed the tipping point, but you don't see the change instantly, do you? It takes quite a while for that ice cube to melt. And I say, we're looking at things like this. If we're looking at Arctic ice up there, where is the tipping point? Have we passed the tipping point already? Are we going to? The heck of it is, we're not going to know when we pass one until long after we've passed it. And by then, it's irreversible. That's why I think that concept is so significant and one for everybody to keep in the forefront of their minds. Now, what I'm going to do here is just go back from the year 1880 now here in terms of the global warming. So we're looking here to combine, this is from, there are several institutes in the world that measure these things. There's the Japanese Meteorological Organization, there's the Hadley Climate Center in Southampton, England. In the United States, we do it through NOAA, and we also do it through NASA. The numbers are all very, very similar. I happen to be using right here the NASA, the Goddard Space Studies Institute in the eastern U.S. And what we're looking at here is several different things. This is the instrumental record from 1880 up to, well, we can add in 2013. 2013 is right where that green dot is right there. Same as 2007. And what do we see? Well, we see the blue dots. That's the weather every year. And of course, that's one of the things that tends to mess up discussions of climate for so many people. Confusing weather and climate. Does it matter that Atlanta got iced out this year? Is that global warming? Is that climate change? No, that's weather. You look at the plot of the blue here, and you can't predict weather from one year to the next. What's climate? We start averaging it out over time. The red line is just a 5-year running average, and we begin to see some patterns. And if you stand back and look at the whole thing and say, well, there's global warming, but if you look at it in more detail, what do we see? Relatively a plateau here, then it gets steep, then we go to another plateau, then it gets steep, and much is being made at present here about the fact that people say, oh, global warming has stopped. It's, well, another plateau like we're used to. But if you look at it from a longer standing perspective, these years here are still the warmest years in the last 1,000 years. We haven't started cooling. We've hit another one of these plateaus like we've hit twice here in the last 125 years. So, what does the future bring? Well, we use computer models to make estimations, but in fact, of course, we don't know till we actually experience it. Now, I want to bring up this concept of albedos, one everybody's familiar with. You know how it is if you're out here skiing or out on the ice any place. Isn't it amazing? You can be out there freezing, shivering, and chilly as can be. It's a sunny day. You can hardly take the cold temperature. And what you have to wear dark glasses, don't you? Because the light reflecting off of that ice and snow is so bright. That's albedo, fancy word for just saying reflectance. When we look at something like Greenland or the Arctic Ocean covered with winter, that's like 85 to 90% of the incoming sunlight is reflected back to space. So in itself, the albedo effect of the ice is perpetuating. It's reflecting the very sunlight that would melt it. But now when we get to these summer times where the water is exposed, this is waters that aren't used to being exposed, what's the albedo off the water? We're down into very low percentages, and the vast majority of the incident sunlight hitting the ocean water is absorbed by the water and stored. So, tipping point, how much heat can the Arctic Ocean absorb before it can no longer be able to totally freeze over again in the wintertime? Now, here we're looking at, you see the records here. This is the era of the satellites. So we're going back here to 1979. What we're really looking at here in this graph is pictures of winter and summer sea ice extent on the Arctic Ocean. So the numbers, I mean, this is millions of square kilometers, but I don't want to get caught up in the numbers as much as I want to say, well, here we are at 1979, The area covered, you see the area of sea ice cover has gone down. And even more significantly, notice the minimum area, where we're going from 6 million square kilometers, look here, we're down to say 2.5 million. That's that much more area of ocean available to absorb water. Now this is just from satellite photos, so we're looking at ice area. That doesn't tell us anything about ice thickness or ice age. Now here's ice volume. Now we're looking three-dimensionally. The numbers are different, but if you look at the volume of the ice, you notice that the decline curve is even sharper. And if we look at the summer minimum, sharper again. And this is volume of ice. We used to have a lot of ice out there that was 20 years old, 15 years old. We're getting down to the place where the majority of that ice is just what formed that year. And of course, younger ice is thinner, not as dense, easier to melt. So the area part can actually be a bit over-encouraging in terms of what we see there. If we look at the summertime now, we're down to very small amount of ice. And again, here's all this area here then that's now exposed to sunlight. Now computer models, they basically extrapolate the present into the future. So I'm not saying this is what we've been looking at are actual facts. This is a projection. And the projections are all somewhat similar. So here we are at the end of this century here. And we look at warming, we see every computer model I've seen has the Earth warming. But the other thing that's common about them all is what area of the world warms the most? And it's always the Arctic. Now, I don't want to get hung up on the specific numbers. I just want to talk about the trends. So we see an area that's very, very much increasing in its warmth. And we don't really know the why of it. There's not even a really good theory as to why. If we're going to talk about ice ages, I can explain ice ages to you in detail. It's one of my favorite lecture topics. I talk about, well, I start off by saying, you are alive at a very unusual time in the history of the Earth. And it's not intuitively obvious. We, from the time we start going to school and learn about the world, we see that, well, one of the continents, Antarctica, the 5th largest continent, is buried beneath ice up to 2.5 miles thick. We see one of the biggest islands, Greenland, buried beneath ice over 2 miles thick. And that's the way the world is, right? No. No. That is not the way the world is. In geologic history, this is an unusual event. You're alive at one of the coldest times in the history of the Earth. Now, it's been over 200 million years since we've had ice covering a continent before this present time. Now, I'm mixing time scales now. I was dealing, heretofore I've been talking about things in our lifetime. Now I'm talking about ice ages. That's millions of years. That's plate tectonics, moving continental drift, if you will, altering oceanic currents. My point simply is climate changes for different reasons on different time scales. On the time scale we're talking here about the Arctic, there is no theory out there to actually explain. We can't say something like, well, it's continental drift, or why do glaciers advance and retreat? We know that. Those are due to astronomical variations over thousands of years, where the Earth's orbit changes its path, where the tilt of the spin axis changes, and where the wobble of the Earth changes, which affects the amount of sunlight we give in a year. Multiply that times thousands of years, glaciers advance and retreat. Why is ice off of the Arctic Ocean now? Why is it disappearing? Well, I like to correlate it, not cause and effect, but I like to look at another set of numbers. Another set of numbers here. If we go back and say, we're zeroing in on when does our species, when does Homo sapiens arrive? When do we begin? 200,000 years ago, maybe, plus or minus 40,000 years. We're honing in on that. We reach 1 billion population about 1804. 2 billion, you see here, 1922, 1960. Well, I'm not the only person in the room who was alive in 1960. That's 3 billion. And where are we today? 7.25 billion. And I think, do each of us have an effect? Did the Lorax not talk about this exact same topic? And what do? Those little effects added up over time come up to be big, big results. And what I want to look here is, you usually see human population plotted with logarithmic curves that distort it. They talk about population growth curves. That's not a curve. That's playing games with reality. Here's my plot. This is the one I use in my textbook. Plotted arithmetically. Plot time On one axis, plot human population. On the other, there's no curve. It says the show right there. So the question is, in my lifetime, the human population of Earth has tripled. Does not that tripling of people, do not their cumulative effects add up to climate modifying actions? The gases that we emit, the things we do as part of our day-to-day life, not from evil intent, but they do, I think, cumulatively get us to where we are and where we're going right now. So that's kind of just a little bit of an overview. I'm going to mention one other thing that we were discussing right here just before the time started here. One of the other things about deep ocean circulation, we're used to the surface of the seas. That's where the winds blow the waters around in their various patterns. What makes the deep ocean water circulate? Those are density differences. And one of the major driving forces for deep ocean water circulation is right up here in that Greenland Arctic area where cold water sinks, goes down deep in the ocean around the world in a circuit that lasts over 1,000 years before it comes back up to the surface again. Now on the surface it comes back up as a familiar Gulf Stream bringing warm water up over to Europe. One of the things is, as the Arctic Ocean warms, do you then get rid of that temperature differential? Do you stop that deep water circulation? And do you freeze up much of Europe? You make some changes that are very, very large, very, very hard to predict, and things that some parts of the world will get life easier, others will get it very much harder. And the bigger thing is, we can't predict everything. It's just we're doing well now. Make changes. Are we improving things? Are we hurting things? To be determined. Thank you. If we're going to speak about climate here, we have a very unprecedented thing in science these days. It's called the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And a lot of these predictions you hear in the paper, a lot of the things you read which sound very, very stunning, are actually even more stunning than they had first seen, because those are things that not only did hundreds of scientists write those things in conjunction, but you have scientists from over 130 nations unanimously agreeing on the results. And to get unanimity of opinion, what does that mean? You scale it down and make it seem less real than it actually probably is. For example, things we're looking at here, the picture of the ice is showed there in the Arctic Ocean there, that 2011 diagram, that wasn't supposed to happen until the year 2050 under the trends. So in other words, a lot of changes are going faster than we even thought. But the climate is such a complex topic. I tell my students at San Diego State, I simply say, if you find this topic, and I'm speaking to 20-year-olds, I say, if you find this topic fascinating, there is so much to be learned here, you could spend an entire career on it. So, what does one person say at any time on climate these days? Frankly, not enough that matters. There's just too complex a topic, and it takes all the people, so many people combining their talents.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks. We deviated from the program a little, offering a Q&A there, so we're going to move on. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your input. Thanks. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and if anybody has any other questions for Mr. Abbott, please, if he's willing to stay afterwards, you can find him, and he's very good. Lovely subject. Next, we have our performance piece. So our going to come up here and do a little original song for us. So you don't have to sit, get up, walk around, or clap. Or if you want to clap, it's going to perform for us.
Yeah, don't be afraid. You guys can clap all you want, make as much noise as you want. Then she said this is an original song called Carpe Diem. Trying to keep the theme of live better. The song is about, really taking advantage of every day that's given to us, seizing the carp, or whatever that means. But before I begin, does anybody need some sugary motivation? Because I can tell energy's getting a little low. I see you in the back row. If I hit you, don't sue. Sorry about that. Alright, so maybe you should come closer if you want to start a little mosh pit up here. I'll throw some candy at you in the front row. But, anyway, this song is called Carpe Diem, and you can find it on the internet. Just search PJ Jezbera, Google it. But make sure you put the Jezbera, because you'll never know what you find. Yeah, let's go. If there's a will, there's a way, and you know that I've got it, and it's taking me somewhere someday. My path is uncertain, my future's unclear, but I won't let that stand in my way. I won't be beat down, I won't be pushed aside. When my day comes, you won't see it passing me by. Carpe diem, live each day like your last, seize the day. Don't close your eyes and let it fade away. When the going gets tough, I go get tacos. My boys have a couple of moves. 'Cause if it doesn't kill you, it just makes you stronger. And I know that I'll make it through. I won't be beat down, I won't be pushed aside. When my day comes, you won't see it passing me by. Carpe diem, live each day like your last, seize the day. Don't close your eyes and let it fade away.
So next, we have our section where we do best moments. So just a brief what that is. We encourage anybody from the audience that has something inspirational to share, a story or something they just want other people to know. We encourage just members of the audience to come, to participate. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up at the end of our service. But today, we have a representative from a charity that we have been supporting called Stand Up for Kids. It's an amazing organization that helps homeless youth in our community up to age 21. They're a drop-in center, and they offer things like food, clothing, showers, help with, let's say, building a resume, things like that. And they're really an amazing organization. I suggest you talk to, sorry, I got the purple shirt afterwards. He's raising his hand, hello. Talk to him afterwards if you want to learn anything more about them. We're going to talk about a little bit more about them during our announcements and how you can get involved and help them out. But, so she's going to, our wonderful best woman speaker is going to share a little bit about her story. Stephen's bringing the microphone.
Thank you for being with us.
Hi everybody. My name is Summer, and I'm actually a kid from Stand Up for Kids. I am 23 right now, but I was actually homeless for 4 years. Right now I'm actually holding down 2 jobs. I got my own apartment, and I would actually actually not be here today if it was not for Stand Up for Kids. They helped me get my ID, they helped me get work clothes, they helped me build a resume, they helped me with school stuff, and they just really supported me. Stand Up is actually really, really awesome. Like, a lot of kids really, really need this program. We actually consider it like a second home. And yeah, I just would not be here for Stand Up for Kids. Love them. I'm sorry, I'm really, really nervous right now. I am a shift manager at McDonald's, and I'm also a cashier at 7-Eleven. I'm still working on school stuff, going to college right now, and just trying to
Thank you so much. I don't even know you. I just have met you. I'm so proud of you. It's fantastic.
Assembly really is all about supporting amazing organizations like this. We want to help people learn how to get involved in our community, and it's just a small way that you can. Like I said, we're trying to build community here, so we really encourage you guys to get together and help out organizations like Stand Up for Kids.
And one thing about this organization, their lease is up in May for the locations that right now. They are looking for another location. Something we talked about in the planning committee is, how can we help in the community? Obviously, there's financial support that we can give to Stand Up for Kids, but also we thought, when the time comes and they need help moving, something we like to do is just offer assistance, help move things that we can do, just physically move you to a new location. So there's all kinds of things this group can do in the community just to help out. So if anybody has any ideas of things where we can really make a difference, we really appreciate it. So in this part of the program, we'd just like to take 1 minute, just in silent reflection. You use that however you like. Thank you. Very much. 1 minute of your lives right there. Something the MCs get to do is decide what they want to talk about or what this meeting's about, or something we'd like to say. So Chloe and I, and particularly I'll say Chloe is just really passionate about it. So we took a word out of, you can see it in our program, in the people that are here in our planning committee, and all of our discussions is the word community. And that's really what this is. It's a community of people here today. It's just fantastic to see all these faces. We really both are passionate about being part of the community. That's why I volunteer in this group. That's why I donate to this group. Because we really wanted to have that sense of community. I am going to throw it over to you.
So I need about 5 lovely volunteers to come up here on stage. 5 volunteers. We got 1. Okay. 2. All right. We got 3. All right. Come on up. 4. We need 1 more. 1 more volunteer. You can just arrange yourself in like a half circle.
Stairs there.
Awesome. Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Okay, beautiful. So, you guys are wondering why you're here, okay? So if you guys could just arrange yourself in a little mini circle here. I'll be right here, yes. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. So, community is made up of a lot of people. I know that sounds really obvious. But what we're going to do is I'm going to use a little visual aid to talk about how interconnected and how much impact we all have on each other's lives. So, I'm going to take this string here. So, and I'm going to hold it. Stephen already has a piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it to you. And then when you get it, you're going to hold on to a little piece of it. Then you're going to pass it to someone else and so on and so forth. You have to hold our friend up. But, okay, so what I want you to do, I'm going to toss this to you. It's okay if you drop it. Okay? You want to pass it on to, there we go. Whoever you want to. This is a free-for-all. Pass it on again, and then grab on. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. Okay. So now we're all connected by this big, beautiful little web here. So what I want to do is, Stephanie, can you shake your side of the rope? We could feel that. We can feel her shaking it. Two of you. And Casey, could you shake yours too? Okay, you can feel that. I can feel it. Awesome. Okay. So, the whole point of this visual exercise ties back to a quote that I like to go over sometimes. It says, "This we know, all things are connected, like the blood that unites us. We do not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves." I think this visual aid and the fact that everybody's here today is a perfect example on how, and tying into what Mr. Abbott was talking about in our reading from Lorax, how much we really do affect this world and how much we affect each other. Sunday Assembly is all about building community, and we're so happy to see so many new faces and some old faces back, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to build community with one another and support each other through hard times, through happy times, whatever it may be, and that's really what we're all about. And just as this visual reminder of a web, we really are all connected. So even if sometimes you find yourself all alone, you're not really alone. And because there's so many people that are affected by you that you affect in your life. Thank you so much for your beautiful. So on that note, we have our announcements here. Okay. So one of the ways that we love to get people involved is through our small groups, or as we call smoops. It's a pretty small group together. Kind of creative. Okay, small groups. So over here in our corner, I bet you were wondering, why are these cool balloons over here? Well, over here we have our small group section. Our green ones are arranged by location, so geographic location, so like North County, Central, East County, things like that. So if you find yourself wanting to get into a small group that is in one of those locations, you can, after our last song, go on over there and you get to meet like-minded people or people in your area, and we can, our lovely Sandra is going to talk to you. Hi Sandra, hi. She's going to talk to you about how you can join one of those small groups. We also have our groups by interest. So book club, we have dog owners, cat owners. You all get together with your cats. I don't know. Family outings. I know, some people obviously have children. So, if you are a family and you're wanting to get connected with other parents, or, whatever it may be, you can go to one of those balloons over there. We also have our little green Get Well balloon. So one of our members of our assembly here, his name is Bill. He has appendicitis. So if you're interested in either making a meal or a get well card or whatever it may be, come on over to the Green Balloon and we'll direct you to Marin, who is, hi Marin, she has the baby attached to her. She will help you learn how you can get involved in that opportunity of just, brightening his day. We also have our Give and Want board. It's another way that, say you have a need, and let's say you need your lawnmower, or hey, I need babysitting this one night, who can do it? Or hey, I just want to catch a cup of coffee with somebody because I want friends.
Or you can call up Carpool here on Sunday.
Yeah, or let's say you need a ride to Sunday Assembly, put it up on the board. Or if you have something you can give, say maybe you can give a ride. Hey, I live in East County, I can carpool with somebody, just here's my number, da. So that's the Give One board we have in the back. It's going to be the little pinup board there, it's signaling to it right there. So those are some amazing opportunities on how to get involved with Sunday Assembly and to help us build the community that we really want to see built.
And we also we have a choir that we like to put together, so there's a choir board
Yes.
over there. And I should mention the way you can do this is just go get a snack item over there on the table, beautiful cinnamon rolls, little lemon bites, very good, some ginger snaps. Have yourself a cup of coffee. Unfortunately, I'll take responsibility. There's no sugar or creamer in this week, so that
There is?
There is. Oh,
There is.
never mind.
Just
Thank
kidding.
you for saving me on that one. I really appreciate it. But grab your snack item, go hang on by the balloon that you're interested in, and if someone else in the audience is also like-minded, then they'll meet you over there.
Please join me at the choir balloon. I don't want to be the choir of one. Claire! Yes, Debbie! Hi! So exciting! Person in the back! Oh, yay! Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really excited about the choir, so I just really want to see it happen. So next time, stay tuned. We might be here with the choir. Probably in a few months. Yeah, give some time.
And some of the events are movies. I have to recommend this highly. This last Wednesday, we saw a movie with the Snoop Group at Art Light Center. It was fantastic. Really great event. I highly recommend that. It's just great to see movies with friends, and we can all be friends. So that's just awesome.
Oh.
There's some other great events coming up.
I was going to mention, we also have our community table. So as a lot of you know, there's a lot of other humanist, atheist groups in the community. We do have a community table. It's right over there, next to our philanthropy table, right between the kids and the philanthropy. Right there. And there's a lot of really awesome events going on in our community with the other atheists, agnostic, skeptics, any other title that Pastafarians. There's a lot of cool events going on, so if you're interested, these groups have meetup sites and whatnot, and you can check out that table in the back for a lot of other awesome ways to get involved.
So Sunday Assembly is entirely run by volunteers and supported by donations from you, and largely right now the volunteers. Please take a moment. I want to address people by name. If you just stand up and just be recognized, and thank you for spending your time. That would you in the back there, just stand up. Please, come on, you can do it. I know you can.
All right.
The initial startup cost expenses and help bring Sunday Assembly to San Diego each month. You become a sustaining member. I do that. So went online. My wife and I do that. We give a specific amount every month, and it's very simple to do. We accept cash, credit cards, personal checks. That's a new one. Online donations through PayPal. We have people that have Square card readers. I will let you know. I know some people tried to make some donations last time. Had trouble with their PayPal. If you have any trouble with that, please see Neil, our president here, who will help you with that. And we have a fix for that problem, and hopefully that won't be an issue going forward. Also, we have some jars for donations, and the best way, I think, to donate is buy some of the nice Sunday Assembly swag we have in the back there, some hats and coffee cups. You can start the day with Sunday Assembly Day. And I did want to mention that if you can't carpool every day, that will carpool team. So
And it's saving the planet, right?
It's right there.
Yeah? We're reducing our CO2 emission. That's the word.
Okay, and
It's trying to be sciencey.
was there anything else, Neil, that we didn't put in there on that specific topic? Thank you very much for your donations. Really appreciate it. Keep this going. your neighbors now?
Yeah. Oh no, actually, wanted to mention we also we have a stable place that we will actually be meeting for the rest of the year until December. We'll be meeting at the Women's Club. It's really close to here. You can look it up or ask one of our lovely volunteers, and they'll give you how to get there. So we'll be meeting the fourth Sunday of each month at 11 o'clock at the Women's Club from now on.
Same place. All the
Yeah,
time.
same place. So, and it has a wonderful little outside area for the kids, and it's going to be really nice. There's also a lot of parking, so stars, thumbs up on that.
Also known as the place we were at last time. So
Yes, yes. So, our next Sunday assembly will be the same day as Earth Day, or the Earth Fair here in Balboa. So come join us at Sunday assembly at 11 o'clock, and then come walk over with us. We'll be going to Earth Fair, we'll doing a little outing, so feel free to come join us for that. We have an awesome program for you next month as well. We'll be having a guest MC from LA come up. He's actually a comedian. And then we have a speaker who'll be talking on the origins of life, Darwin's ideas, correct? Is that right, Deb? Yeah, Darwin's ideas and how those kind of evolved. Okay, thank you for the laugh. All right. We also have a suggestion box in the back. We haven't given your suggestions and reading them. Or is that a suggestion box? Oh, that is the box. Okay, sorry, it just looks shiny. Okay, anyways, so we have a suggestion box in the back, so we have been reading them and taking them to heart. So if you guys have any ideas on how we can improve Sunday Assembly, and please feel free to drop those in the back. Next time that you come, please bring a friend, because we would love to see more wonderful faces and connect more people with this community. So next time, bring a friend, and you'll get a free hug. Yeah. Another really awesome thing that we just to leave you guys with. We're really privileged to be a part, like I said earlier, of a international movement of Sunday Assembly. So in the month of May, our Sunday Assembly will be sending, I think, 2 or 3 people to London, and we'll be having a 5-day conference on how to improve Sunday Assembly, on how to connect more people, and just kind of a bunch of workshops and all that kind of stuff. And so there are going to be delegations from all around the United States and around the world going to London. So that's really exciting, and we're really excited to be a part of it. None of your donations are going to us flying there. We're paying our own way, so no worries about that, guys. So yeah, that's all I guess now.
So you have plenty of time to think of your lie. So I told you the 3 things about myself. I told Chloe, and she'll tell me her thing here. So we're going to have the opportunity to tell your neighbor 3 things about yourself. 2 things are true, 1 thing's a lie. I was married in Costco in the middle of the day, right there in the clothing section in a flash mob wedding. My grandfather did was in charge of pouring the slab for Fashion Valley. And my father never met Esther Williams, and I just want to mention that because the last time he was speaker was to talk about Esther Williams. So.
Awesome. So go ahead and get up and do your 2 truths and a lie. And then we will wrap that up in probably about 5 minutes here, and we'll do our last song. Woo! Thanks!
Awesome.
Yeah. Good to meet your people.
I got 2 truths, but I didn't like the lie. It sounded like a truth, but hard to say. Right. Okay. Well, here we go.
your arms around the person next to you. We're gonna get really close and intimate here. Okay, it's gonna be hit the heart. Alright?
Alright. You guys ready for this? Alright, this is a Green Day song. It's called Good Riddance. If you graduated 6th grade anytime near the 90s, you've probably heard this song. Before I go though, I want to say a quick thank you to Neil, to Paul, to Steven, to Chloe, and to yourselves. So please make a lot of noise. It takes a lot to sing this song. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for having me. Now let's sing this song and try not to cry. Nice. So make the best of these tests, don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's fine. I hope you had the time of your life. Good. We can be louder, people. Much louder. I want to be so loud that the museums are hearing us now. Alright, here we go. So take the photographs that still get to your mind. Nice. Hang it on a shelf, make good on a good time. Tattoos of memories, there's no time. For what it's worth, there was work all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end that's right. I hope you had the time of your life. So that's so nice. High five something next to you. You guys are doing awesome. We're coming up on the last chorus. This one has to be the loudest ever. I want these ball lights to be falling off the ceiling because we're singing so loud. It's your last chance. Wake up, sit. Here you go. Here we go. It's something unpredictable, baby, and that's right. I hope you had the time of your life. Beautiful. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, thank you so much, DJ. Again, remember you can back this up on iTunes, so check that out. Support our community. It's time for some cake, everyone. And for getting together the swoops, we're all going to downtown Johnny Brown's after this, so please feel free to join us. As soon as we're not here, we'll be there. Not like instantaneously, so, you know, allow lag time. But yeah, so and the address is in your program. Check it out. We hope to see you there. Thank you for coming, everyone.